And welcome to SpartanMag.com VCast. Jim Comparoni, Rico Beard, East Lansing, Michigan. Michigan State counting down toward opening with Tulsa a week from Friday. Getting ready to name captains on Thursday. Today is Meet the Spartans. Check out Rico's podcast. He'll have some interesting insights from there. How you doing, Rico?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. You ready for a new season?
I am.
All right. So today we had a chance to interview a few players. Brian Lewerke was out here. He seemed real tired. And Mike Tressler came out, gave us some information. Did you get any takeaways from today? It's a tough time of year because we've gone for 2.5 weeks of practice. We're not able to see a whole lot.
Right. So
we've asked about starters. There's not many more questions we can ask at this point. But did you come away with any takeaways today?
No, I didn't. I think they're getting tired of us. We're getting tired of them. They can't talk about the offense. We want to know about the offense. We want to, we've asked this question as many times as possible. You still get nothing. So, yeah, it's defense. We know they were a top defense last year. I think it's really, they're sick of us. We're sick of them. Can we just get to, the 11 days from now and just get this thing going? And I think then we'll have some fresh stories. Then we'll know who's doing what, who's playing where, what this offense is going to look like. What exactly does tempo mean? Does this mean, is it nonstop? Is it Big 12? Or is it just pick your spots? I mean, there's a lot of questions that can't get answered. But, yeah, I think for Brian, you can kind of see he's dialed in, he's focused. I'm quite sure he wants that captaincy. And, I would simply say if you're D'Antonio, don't make the same mistake twice. Have 4 captains. If he's not a captain, because then it becomes a story all over again all season long. Well, why isn't Brian captain? He was captain before. Mm-hmm. But, I would just make it 4 captains. There's no law that says you have to have 3. They've had years where they had 2. So, I just think that they're kind of ready to go. I think this Meet the Spartans event that's going on right now, I think maybe just a little bit of a nice little break, get away from football, just kind of interact with the fans.
You're down in the Detroit area a lot. Are you getting any college football buzz down there? Are the Michigan State fans that are they excited, or is there still kind of a little bit of a coma from last year?
Oh, no, they're not excited at all. They were excited, believe it or not. I don't know if it's just a genius because you're not talking about the offense because the offense was bad. State fans are just in a funk. You got Michigan fans constantly kicking them, reminding them how bad the offense was. Then they came out with the uniforms that a lot of people just said, oh, my God, these are the worst things ever. I'm like, they're not supposed to cure cancer. They're just something that you play a football game in. That's it. If they win the game, you'll love them. If they don't, you'll hate them. But, honestly, there's not a lot of buzz about Michigan State. There's kind of just the holding the breath, fingers crossed, wait and see. You're constantly being told how they can't win it this year and how they got the defense, but Lewerke's going to go backwards. D'Antonio's about 1 foot from retirement, so it's that type of talk.
And that's where Michigan State wants people thinking. And the people that think that are not going to be on the playing field.
Right.
But sometimes that does it does cascade down to the field in Ann Arbor to those players a little bit. It does sometimes.
It does. Jim, it's almost like when you watch a movie over and over and over again, and you expect, will the Titanic sink? Yes. Every time you watch it, it will sink. Leo will fall into the ice. And it's like, oh, well, this is going to be different. Like, guys, it's not. I mean, Mark D'Antonio has bounced back from every bad year. I got to give him credit for that. As bad as the off years have been, the even number years, the odd number years have been just as good. I mean, 15 playoffs. In 16, they were 3-9, but then they bounced back. But then they kind of took a step back. Last year, as I said, it's not an excuse. It's more of a fact. That team had more injuries than I've seen in any high school, college, or professional team. It spread over to the basketball team. It just seemed like everybody was getting hurt. When you use 5 punters, that's not an excuse. That's a fact. Fact is they were injured. Did they still play? Yes, they did. They won big games. They went to Penn State with half a team, and they won. But you're right. This is where I think D'Antonio wants everybody. This is where he sees everybody because you're underestimating them. You're giving them the chip on the shoulder. You're hearing Michigan's going to be in the playoffs. Michigan's going to win the Big Ten. Shea Patterson's going to be player of the year. And when it comes to the Spartans, they got a good defense. But let me tell you about those Wolverines. So, they're feeding into that stuff. And, they're keeping quiet. They're keeping their mouth shut. As he said, the lion in the cage. Well, I think that lion's pretty hungry.
If there's any program in the Midwest or in the nation that deserves some cautious respect, it's like, well, watch out for Michigan State. It's like a hot light bulb. You don't know what they could be. They could be something big. Northwestern's not getting that respect yet. And in the state of Michigan, maybe the Spartans don't get that, but nationwide they get that respect. And with number 18 in the country, the coaches and the AP. So whether those riders and coaches end up being correct, over the course of time, Michigan State does have a measure of respect outside of the state, but that still goes along with Michigan State still able to lie in the weeds.
Yeah, that shows a lot, as you say, respect, because what they saw was as bad as the offense was. And in the last 4 games, they scored a total of 32 points. Okay? That's ugly. You got to own that. You got to eat that. But that defense was so good, they still won 7 games. Imagine if they were able to kick one more field goal or score one more touchdown, you could easily look at a 10-win team again. So I think people are seeing, okay, on paper, the offense, they were the butt of jokes. But it's like, let's really look at this team. And true football people will look and say, well, wow, okay, well, what? I don't think that Clemson, when the quarterback left and Lawrence got hurt, Clemson almost lost to Syracuse. They put it was hard. Imagine losing your quarterback, your offensive line, and your 2 starting wide receivers, 3 receivers, all going down. And and your starting running back is hurt.
Start 9 different offensive lines.
Yeah, good luck trying to get an offense going. I mean, like I said, people are like, well, you're making excuses. That's not an excuse.
Did they do well to win 7 games?
Yeah, I think they did, because it shows you that defense. So imagine if the offense, as I was just talking with Coney, if the offense jumps from, I think they averaged, 18 points last year, if they can just score one more touchdown, let's just say get to 26, 27 points a game, you're probably looking at a team that's going to win the Big Ten East, because the defense doesn't have to stay out in the field for 36 minutes, 40 minutes a game. I mean, you saw that Ohio State, Michigan ran out of gas. You can't get mad at them. And, they said all the things publicly, but privately they were a little perturbed. Like, what else we got to do? Okay, we got a barbecue. I bought the ribs. I bought the macaroni and cheese. I brought the potato salads. You showing up with some napkins. Not the same thing, okay? I'm bringing a lot more. Offense, I think, is ready to pick up their side of the ball and really do more.
I agree. As far as captains this Thursday, Brian Lewerke is a returning captain. He'll have a shot. Joe Bocci's a returning captain. I imagine he'll have a shot. I think those 2. Kari Willis has graduated. The other one, I'm looking.
Kenny.
Do you think so? I mean, Tyreek Thompson, I think. I mean, I think we don't know. You never know behind the walls who holds some of that respect. Kenny Willekes holds a lot of respect on the field. Off the field, he's kind of a little bit of, I don't know what the word. I think he's a little flaky off the field, I think people like that. But as a leader, I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe.
I think you need him to be aloof. I think you need him to kind of be out there, to be wild, to be, that
J.J. Watt type.
The J.J. Watt, that Gronk type. Yeah, that just goes out there and does crazy things and says stuff and, says the stuff that everybody else wants to say, but they don't. He can back it up. Hey, how many people in this room first-team All-Americans? Okay, who else raised their hand? Nobody. Me. I can do the talking, okay? I can back it up. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if it's close, I'd rather just make all 4 of them captains. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
And Tressel had an interesting passage about the practice today that they were doing an inside period, which is inside run, just like 7 or 8 against 7 or 8, maybe 9. And the offense clipped off a couple plays, which is probably a pretty good sign. But Panashuk and Raekwon Williams stood up and said, all right, this is over. We're taking over right now. So Raekwon Williams also.
Raekwon may be the dark horse of the race. He went to Big Ten Media Day, because a lot of times I look to see who goes to Chicago. He was there. Now, I know they only took defensive players because they didn't want to talk offense. But, he's a leader both on and off the field. And it's the little things you see. Like when the football team comes to the basketball game, who are all the players gravitating around? And, Raekwon and Kenny kind of had a little crowd together. So,
also last night I just happened to be doing a search on my computer, and I came across a story that we did way back 2 years ago after that terrible season in 2016. Toward the end of the year, they, the PR people and the coaches were pointing toward the next leaders to pull them out of that abyss that they had when they went 3-9. And Raekwon Williams was a guy back then that D'Antonio was talking about as a future captain back then. And a little light went on, like, are we overlooking him? Because behind the scenes, he certainly carries a lot of respect. And I'd like to see him get in there and get that. I'd like to see him have that on his resume, not just for football, but for other things in the future. Now, as far as other things that went on, we heard that big hits in the scrimmage. Kalin Gervin mentioned Luke Fulton, also freshman linebacker. And Tressel talked about Tate Halleck, a couple of big hits in the scrimmage. I don't know if they'll be part of the playing group, but they need special teams guys with as many seniors as they graduated on special teams. Those guys, that's some interesting names. They're starting to blip. Also, Michael Dowell. I've been waiting and waiting for someone to mention him because I don't want to mention it to somebody because then they'll say good things about it. You don't know if that's organic or not. Today, Tressel brought up Michael Dowell twice as a third-string safety that's knocking on the door a little bit. Good for him.
No, and I think with a lot of these players, people get so caught up in recruiting right about now because that's the only thing you can win. You want to win in recruiting. Look what everybody else is doing. Oh, my God, we're competing with Kentucky, and now Cincinnati is the new Kentucky. Mm-hmm. What people fail to realize, there are going to be 19 people that Michigan State fans have not seen. 19 kids redshirted last year. 3 play all season long. That means 19 got bigger, faster, stronger. Now, will all 19 of them come out there and have the same impact as a Xavier Henderson? I can't say that. But, I wouldn't get so wrapped up in some guy who's getting ready to start his senior year in high school because you got 19 guys. You mentioned Fulton. You mentioned all of those guys. Boating. A lot of those guys, we didn't get a chance to see whether they were injured or whatever, but that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, how they play. Kalin Gervin going out there at the corner spot. I think that he's going to compete. I think him and Butler will probably, I'm looking at Gervin probably as that nickel corner, but nipping on the heels of Butler, like, don't give up too many plays.
Shaq Brown has too, though.
Yeah, so, they got people out there ready to go for that spot, but they got 19 guys, and I think the sad thing about recruiting is you love them when they're in high school, and the second they get here, well, they're no good because they didn't play their first year, and, we need to find all this talent. Let's just cut these guys loose. It's 19 guys waiting to come out there, so just want to put that there.
Anything? Did you talk to Julian Barnett today? Did you glean anything from that? Barnett came out.
He's all offense right now. Yeah, he's playing all offense right now. He hasn't taken too many reps at defense. He's been primarily focused on receiving and offense. Sounds like he's athletic. They're going to kind of see what they got with him. That's one of them. You're going to look at your first 4 games. I think he's one of the guys that will play regardless, kind of like Henderson did last year. He's going to play whether it's offense, whether it's defense. You're going to have to find a spot for him because he's that special type of talent. Also special teams. I think he's the kind of guy that can give you a threat. Now, it's not just, Captain Fair Catch, get the ball, and no, somebody who can flip the field and help that offense out because, special teams didn't help out the offense a lot last year either.
Yeah, I agree. Keep an eye on him as a guy with the ball in his hands, special teams or otherwise, one of the better all-around players, certainly one of the better athletes in the program, freshman Julian Barnett out of Belleville. We're going to let Rico go. Appreciate all the help. Okay. Appreciate everybody at SpartanMag.com. Thursday, captains will be announced. Tuesday will be media day. A week from Friday, kicking off the 2019 college football season for the Michigan State Spartans. Rico is going to be there. Check out his podcast in the meantime. What time tomorrow?
12 o'clock. Live at 12 o'clock, and you can download it anytime right after 12.
Check it out. Rico Beard, Jim Comparoni. I might.
Okay. Keep talking. This man knows a lot. Listen to him.
I'm done. But anyway.
Get that credibility back.
I'm working to try to get it right now. No more magentas. Magenta! We're going to retire the magenta. I'm going to raise that to the rafters, retire that thing. Anyway, Rico Beard, Jim Comparoni, VCast from East Lansing, Michigan, SpartanMag.com.